Greetings humanity, and welcome to Channel Otherdoc. I'm Jim, I use he, him pronouns, and this, once again, is Alas for the Angry Void. It is a reskinning of Alas for the Awful Sea by Storybrewers Roleplaying to tell gothic science fiction stories set among the stars. We're going to go around and say hi to everyone we have with us at the moment. So today we are starting with Kat. Hello.
I'm not used to going first.
Sorry.
That's okay. Hi, I'm Kat, Cleric of Cord. I play Fergus, the old sea dog, and the creature who, it's an open secret now. Everybody knows. There's no more hiding, and he's found out there's more like him, which is like scary for him. But yeah, okay. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Fergus,
so much has happened.
Fergus is a perfectly normal human who happens to also be an extraterrestrial. That's all. Well,
I mean, technically, we're all extraterrestrials at this point.
At this point in humanity's history, yes, that's fair. That's very fair. And
it's just not
now,
human.
That's fair. That's fair. And now we are going to head over to Mem. Hello.
Oh, hi. I'm Mem. I feel like I always forget what my name is, right? When we start. I will be Arena Maynard today, the Scholar Believer, and we both use she, her pronouns, and I haven't been here a long time. So hi, everyone.
Yay! Awesome. And now we will head over to Katy. Hello.
Hi, everyone. I'm Katy. I use they, she pronouns. I am playing Levitt Teague, who is the mercenary lover who also uses they, she pronouns. And I am taking a long nippy nap.
Yes, that's true. Levitt is currently unconscious, but will probably not be for very long. And once again, Robin could not be with us today, unfortunately. And Hollow may be joining us shortly. So if Hollow appears suddenly, then we'll do a quick little re-scrambling of the screen, and then we'll get his intro and all and what have you. But before we dive in there, just as a reminder, you may see us use safety tools from time to time, like we do with the other games on this channel. We're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for one of us, any of us can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, hold up a card or make an X symbol, and we'll back up and do something else. If something happens that we're okay having in the game, but we don't want a graphic description of it, we can type an N in the Zoom chat and we'll fade to black on it or put it behind a veil. So it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. And then finally, if we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going anyway, we can put an O in the chat to let us know we're okay and that we're all good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we're moving into a difficult topic, or if we say or we do something and then think, maybe that might have been a little too much, then everyone else can respond to that again with an X, an N, or an O to let us know if we're still doing okay. We're also using the pause. If any of us needs to take some time, we can ask for a pause in the game while we discuss things, or just take a break for as long as anyone needs. As a reminder, just a few content warnings. This game may contain gothic themes, like gloom, despair, intense emotions, macabre scenes, romance, and curses, along with references to violence, alien creatures, colonialism, crime, death, exploitation, family issues, separation from family, homesickness, loneliness, starvation, sudden decompression, the vacuum of space, and vengeance. If you want to see if you want to see that in chat, I've got a list that's going to be coming up. You just type, if you're on Twitch, type !CW, and that will pop up. And that's also going to show up regularly on rotation, so you can see that there in the chat. Also, yes, thanks for the interest in the transcript stuff. We use Google Meet for that, so that's if you can. For the hearing impaired and what have you, you can see sort of down in the left-hand corner of the screen. It's attempting to say the things to print out that which we are saying, and so that's something that I find important. And then also, please remember we have an open door policy, which means that any of us and any of you can feel free to step away from this at any time if we need to. It's just a game, and mental health is always more important. So. Here's a recap. me transition over to the recap here. See if I can find in the various documents here. Okay. Stuff has happened. Terrible insight has been visited upon humanity by beings from beyond the void. More knowledge of the beyond is drifting down to them. Perhaps they will know what to do with it. Jackson Mead, merchant and purveyor of canned goods, has been in touch with a demigod, an alien being whose name is not pronounceable by human tongues, but some attempts have come close. Caladrin. Until quite recently, his supposedly deceased body was being held at the Abbey of St. Caladrin as a relic. The Abbey being the main feature of Mela Space Station, a large metallic cathedral-like structure that orbits the planet Discordia in the Tauran sector. Then they woke up. This was accomplished by means of a shuttlecraft being piloted directly into the side of the station, destroying his shrine and dislodging his reliquary chamber. The shuttle in question had on it a smuggler, Scylla Crane, a doctor, Florence Stoppard, and an assassin, Levitt Teague, who was flying the shuttle at the time. Levitt chose this course of action after communing with one of the entities from beyond the void, who is the curator, who is currently imprisoned by another such being known as the Warden. The Warden will very likely be instructed to release one prisoner in less than 4 days. The curator is hoping Levitt will advocate for their release when the time comes, as either of the other two release candidates, the Gardener and the Reaper, would be much worse. Or at least that's what the curator says. They've said they want to preserve humanity, but have been reluctant to spell out precisely what that would mean, stating that understanding their methods would require a discussion of dimensional physics. That said, there will be others who might advocate for one of the other candidates. The interstellar power group known as the Ascendancy, one of whose members happens to be Levitt's sister, is apparently behind an attempt that was to be made to steal Caladrin's body and perhaps, according to the curator, use it as a bargaining chip in an effort to get one of those other candidates released, as Caladrin is a progeny of the Warden. Thinking back to a half-overheard conversation with a member of the Ascendancy from her youth, Levitt has reason to suspect that the being the group will advocate for will be the Reaper, who is known for culling populations. So Levitt felt it would be a bad idea for the Ascendancy to get a hold of Caladrin, hence the collision of the shuttle into the station. Levitt and the other passengers, claiming a malfunction of the shuttle's guidance system, were taken to the station's medical bay. Caladrin, now awake, had their escape assisted by Jackson, and the two of them stepped through a dimensional portal in the station's illumination chapel and went to a hidden place, an observatory. There, Caladrin found that a device of his, a key that can be used to open and close the way to the beyond, had long ago been taken. So now he might have to petition the Warden for entry to the beyond, where someone he cares about deeply is located. Before settling down to recover from their long slumber, Caladrin gave Jackson in payment a detailed map of this galactic quadrant. Caladrin then sent Jackson back to Mela Station, where he was reunited with Fergus, the pilot of the CS Chimera. Fergus, who was injured during an attempt by the Ascendancy's hired syndicate thugs to steal Caladrin's reliquary chamber shortly before he escaped from it, was treated in the station's medical bay. Fergus needed a bit of privacy and special attention because, despite often appearing as a perfectly normal human, he is in fact an extraterrestrial from the planet Val. Clearly, or rather I should say luckily, I can't even read my own typing. Luckily, there are two other Val aboard the station, both of whom belong to a smaller sect within the Caladrites called the Sentinels of Nod. The two Val are the Prime Sentinel brother Cormac and the second Sentinel brother Amon, both of whom have concealed their origins from most of humanity. Cormac was also injured in the conflict, and Amon required assistance in treating both Cormac and Fergus. Luckily, Dr. Stoppard, who had arrived on Levitt's shuttle, was not badly injured and had apparently once had the opportunity to study Val anatomy, albeit with a deceased subject. Before receiving treatment from Stoppard, Fergus insisted on getting the payment negotiation out of the way, owing to Dr. Stoppard's reputation for always extracting some price or other from his patients, and they agreed that Fergus would answer 5 questions later on, so long as he was not being asked to give up anyone else's secrets. A bit later, when Cormac regained consciousness, as they discussed potential plans, he revealed to Fergus that Caladrin would not be able to step into the Beyond because the Sentinels had possession of his key device. After the conversation, Fergus went in search of Jackson, whom he found in the Illumination Chapel. They exchanged information. Then Jackson received a message from Adira Basara, a geophysicist who, like Jackson, had been on the station promoting the Quantum Line Initiative, a movement to build a series of jump gates along one of the old space lanes that had fallen into disuse with the advent of the Argolite drive. Adira said that something was wrong and that he should check his QLI pin, which was given to him by a member of the Ascendancy, as it happens, for a carrier wave. Fergus was able to determine that such a wave was indeed emanating from the pin and most likely being received by any device on the station capable of interpreting it. He then smashed the pin, causing the wave to cease. On their way to see the Sentinels, Jackson noticed Adira being closely escorted to the station's refectory, where it looked like the abbot was waiting. Upon reaching the Sentinels' temple, the Temple of Nod, Fergus saw a body being covered, and Amon advised him that one of the Sentinels had been killed. Amon then took Fergus and Jackson to a private meeting room where he revealed that Caladrin's key had been stolen. Now, this is later on in the campaign for anyone just joining us. We're getting close to the end. Your ship, the Chimera, is currently in the docking area underneath Castle Haberlane, a reputedly haunted location on the moon of Azoth, which is in orbit around the planet Metaxas, elsewhere in the sector. There is a dimensional gateway operating within the castle that can take you directly to Mela Station. This is a resource being provided by surviving members of the Haberlane family, or the Norman family as they're currently known, under the auspices of the Warden. So, I'm going to be hopping back and forth real fast because unfortunately Katy has a very short amount of time that she can be here today. But I do want to start with Irina because we need to catch you up just a bit. So I just want to ask a couple of things. So time is going to have passed. It's somewhere in the neighborhood of probably, I'm guessing, 18-ish hours by this point. And so I when we last left you, you had been sort of kind of calming folks down on the on the Chimera, and then you were talking about also possibly coming with the other folks over to Mela Station using the gateway. Is that still something you wanted to do?
Yes.
I need to ask because there's a question of sleep. Would you have wanted to sleep on the ship before you went over, or would you have wanted to sleep on the station after you went over? There are facilities for both. Just depends on what you want.
We sleep on the ship and then go over.
That works fine. So what I think we're going to say is that you got a decent amount of sleep and you were able to actually get a certain amount of rest.
Yay.
And I think what we're going to say is that, yeah, so there is it's a very big chamber underneath the castle, held up by pillars. Very old very old tech is in here. And there are some things that you may possibly glean from the gateway and from the process. Signy Norman is going to activate the controls to send you through. Right now, there's only a mist visible. There's this area of darkness behind this big triangular gateway down in that basement. And that apparently is where the Warden appears from time to time. But as this process goes on and you're going to be going through the gateway, I just want to ask, so there's a potential for gleaning a couple of things from this. And so there's something I think I would like to ask for a move here.
Okay.
And so I'm going to give you a choice. You can read a situation or sense what's beyond, depending on how you want to do this.
I want to read the situation.
Okay. So go ahead and roll plus brain, and we will talk about what you're able to glean throughout this whole process of getting there and getting onto the station itself.
It's been so long. Let's see if I remember how to do this. Roll plus brains. Boop.
Okay, that is a 7. And let's see, read a situation. I made macros. So on a 7 to 9, you get to ask 2 of those questions.
Let's see. Oh no. What should I be on the lookout for?
Okay. So there are some symbols on the gate that you recognize. And you realize, so here's the thing. Caladri, in your religion, was often partnered with a being known as the Engineer. The name that we have had for her, it's she, they, and is Ariel, and that is Galadriel's lover. He would come up with the ideas and she would build the things, often, or design the things, and they would build the things together. You think this gate might have been constructed by them. So because this was a long time ago. One of the Caladri is I seem to remember you saying kind of a neutral figure in Darism. But one of the things they kind of helped with involved bringing life back to folks on your planet. It was this there's this thing where it was like one of the reasons sometimes I think that they sometimes receive praise is they apparently had some kind of a hand in, well, it was sort of bringing the sun back was kind of a thing that they were talking about. But so is that a metaphor? Is it not? It's hard to say. But yeah, so they do these really, really strange things with dimensional physics, apparently. Okay. That's one question that's as far as what you should be on the lookout for. Also, so this is going to be, you're going to be passing through something that's kind of like, I don't know if your people on your planet would consider it a relic of some kind, but this is kind of it's a little bit of a big deal.
Okay. And then what here is not what it seems.
Okay. Once you figure out what everything is, it kind of is what it seems for the most part, but it's that, yeah, there's, so here's the thing. A detail I forgot to mention because there's a lot going on here, is that there's a point where you'll note there are a number of Signy Norman's family members, some of them Haberlanes, who have been in this chamber for centuries, frozen in place. From what you've been told, this is voluntary.
Oh.
But there is another figure that you have heard of. Remember when you were trying to figure out who the other prisoners might be, and you realized there was a very long list of extra-dimensional prisoners?
Yes.
you realize that the tech involved with those, that there is tech created by one figure in particular, who you think was put away for some time, according to the lore, that freezes people in place as a means of collecting them, preserving them, exactly as they are. One of the names of these individuals is the Curator. And so, like, this is not, so this is basically, and, you know, these figures would, these beings would talk to each other from, you know, they would interact. But yeah, that's a thing that you're noticing. It's like, this is not part of this exactly, but it's, so they have borrowed this other technology for this.
Okay.
You're going to be going through the gate. When you get to the station, there is, in the handouts, there is a map of the station. If you would like to see it, it's the Mela Station map that shows where the different things are. When you get onto the station, things are in chaos for a while. There are alarms going off, and there seems to be, what you're able to find out eventually is that apparently there was a breach. And now there was some kind of an accident with a shuttle, and you find out that finally, after, you know, asking a number of folks, there are a bunch, basically people you find here, tourists and monks, monks in brown robes and monks in dark blue robes. Something you find out after a little while, as everything is sort of, they're trying to settle down, you know, the things are sort of in emergency status and people are being herded from place to place. There are a lot of people here who are saying that Caladrin has departed. Caladrin has arisen and left his shrine. There is, but then you also find out that among the people, as you finally, you know, you get it, you eventually you find somebody who knows, that you realize after, you know, you find a description or you see a piece of video or something will tell you that one of the patients, one of the people who was in the shuttle that crashed into the station was Levitt, and that they're currently in the med bay in station ops. Do you want to go check on them?
This is gonna sound a little heartless, right? But Irina is really confused about the Caladrin business. That he's gone, so she actually would probably. No, yes, let's go check on Levitt. Never
Okay.
mind.
Yeah. Oh no, it'll be fine. Everyone. Okay. So let me let's get to Levitt here. I'm going to get to Levitt also by explaining that Fergus will have your conversation. If we don't have Hollowback between now and the necessary time, then you will have broken away from that conversation, as that conversation was probably interrupted by station business, we'll just say, and you will be appearing again shortly. Levitt, you're going to awaken in the station's medical bay, and you will see that one of the, you know, that they've been checking you out, and you seem to be okay, from what they can tell. They've been kind of holding you under observation for a little bit. And, you know, they kind of do the standard thing when they wake you up of like, okay, please look to your left, look to your right. What what year is it? Who's the president?
At some point,
that kind
Lev
of
is
stuff.
just like, get off of me. I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine. I'm fine. Just leave me alone.
You're going to so Irina, you're going to see Levitt saying, as they're basically doing the final stages of fussing over them.
Mhm.
Arena, tell them I'm fine.
Well, I don't know that you're fine, but you're probably physically unharmed. You can leave her be.
I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean.
And they're sort of shrugs. You'll see that Stoppard is actually here. Stoppard has been helping out. Irina probably does not know Dr. Stoppard, I'm guessing. But Levitt, you will see that Dr. Stoppard, when he has a second, you just sort of lean over. It's like, oh, good, you're all right.
I just, sometimes you fall asleep at the helm and things happen.
Oh no, there's still Scylla's still out like a light, but she's going to be all right. Just so you'll know.
Oh, okay, good to know. Hi, Irina. What are you up to?
What am I up to? What have you been up to?
Oh, well, my ship crashed into the temple, and then I helped Fergus fight, or fend off Calitrin, I believe it was. And then I passed out. So it's been quite a day.
Fergus, you've been notified that Levitt is awake. And
He'll pass that message on to Jackson, and I think their conversation's wrapping up, so he'll start making his way there.
okay, I'll let you know when you're there.
Why do you have a ship? Why did you crash the ship? What is happening here?
I was captured by my sister, and then someone who I've been in contact with for a while, known as the Curator, helped me escape. And the only way I knew to get away from the people who were following me was to land here. And, bippity boppity boo, some things happen. And it landed into a crash. Might have not been on purpose. I can't really say yay or nay to that. But we were all all right. We were wearing our seatbelts.
Fergus, you and Amon will be entering the sick bay at this point, and you will see Levitt is up and talking to Irina.
You crashed into a sacred place, perhaps on purpose.
Big perhaps. Maybe. Big maybe.
And a god arose and left.
Not a god. I heard you. Not a god. Just an extra dimensional being.
Yeah, just a regular old extra dimensional being. That was very powerful, though.
And you're very calm about this.
Well, in my line of work, you have to expect the unexpected. That was definitely unexpected. And, I'm alive. That's about the most you can hope for,
Is it really the most we can hope for?
Most I can hope for.
You know what? Reasonable for you. Yes.
You seem less than calm, Irina. Are you all right?
I feel that every time I leave any of you, I come back and something insane has happened. Every time.
Well, by definition, it's not insanity.
It's not every time either. There have been some calm moments.
When?
I'm sure if we sat here for a very long time, I could think of one. We don't have that type of time.
Yeah. Eamon looks at his comm for a second and is just sort of he kind of gets the idea from Fergus that it's like, okay, these people are okay, and he's just sort of like, we've got footage of the killing, when they came in and took the key.
We need to go watch that. Yeah.
If you want to see it, I can have it piped through if you want.
Yes, please. Love it. Just in case you might recognize family, friends, acquaintances.
He goes over to a monitor and starts punching up some stuff. I realize that very few of that only one of you right now has had an opportunity to familiarize yourself with the station's geography, the way the station looks. So over in the Temple of Nod, which is in the bottom left-hand corner of the station, by the bottom left-hand docking bay, there is it's where most of the dark blue robed monks hang out, the Sentinels of Nod. You see that there is a cowled figure that walks into the temple. There's kind of an access nook near the back, a hidden nook that they are making for, where someone is, and where they are. They follow someone into it because apparently that is when one of the Sentinels was going to secure the key, which was hidden back there. They have gone and so basically you see they sort of follow them back there, and you see that there's this thing where they throw off this hood, and you see they're wearing this black meshed suit, which, Levitt, you recognize as the suit that your sister was wearing when you shot her, or one similar to it. You see her produce a sort of weapon that sort of appears in her hand that fires a sort of a needle-like object that narrowly avoids the other monk, who immediately spins around and they start fighting in this very small corridor. They're essentially there, and it is a knockdown drag out thing where they're using throwing objects at each other, bouncing off the walls type deal. Ultimately, the monk almost gets the upper hand as they're able to kind of hit down with this sort of pike that they have picked up and jab into an area that's actually right about where you remember shooting her, and she starts bleeding from there. But eventually, she's able to come around and produce this morphic weapon, metal weapon that she sort of brings her hands together, pulls it out, and it becomes a garrote, which she uses and pulls around the neck of the individual as she gets behind them, and is able to do that to finally finally end their life. And it's like during the conflict, looks like that she's losing blood, but she a little bit, not dramatically, too dramatically, but a little dramatically, and she's dropped a couple of things, including like there's like well, you'll notice this as she's departing. She rushes up, she grabs this box that's at the back of this chamber, and notices things that are like separately wired alarms start to go off, but she does a thing, holds up some sort of signal thing to deactivate them, and she dashes out of the temple. And you can see that she has left behind a couple of things, including a kind of a little sort of side pouch thing, pocket thing.
Can I tell where this area is?
It's the Temple of Nod. It's just over to the. It's right by one of the docking ports.
Unfortunately, Fergus, that's my dear, lovely sister, Effie. And it looks like she's left us a little gift. I'm going to go retrieve that.
I'll take you there. I know where it's at.
All right, thank you.
So this kind of runs in the family then.
Well, I didn't. I wasn't. This is news to me that it's genetic. Apparently, I've just realized it's yes, it is. Apparently, let's go.
So, we're going to do a quick wipe, and you're going to arrive at the temple. Now, you're being told by Amon that apparently Effie had another ship waiting in the docking port, a smaller ship that she jumped into and took off. According to what they're able to piece together about that individual. The station security is finally coming back up for some reason now. The station monitoring and security and communications weren't working until just a short time ago. Possibly coinciding with the time Fergus destroyed a pin. So you'll find yourselves in the temple. There is, and because you're with Amon, the monks let you through. And they have these couple of items. There's like there's the cowl that got discarded and this pouch.
Okay. Real quick, while we're getting there, I know it's a very short journey. It's not far from the medical bay. But as we're on our way there, I think Fergus is going to quietly sing hum to Amon. What is the key?
And he's going to respond in so you find them. So they're kind of humming to each other for whatever, and he says this is a creation of Caladrin. It allows the gates to transcend the beyond.
Can anyone use it?
From this side? Well, anyone who knows how.
Which is why they wanted Caladrin.
Maybe. So you're going to when you get this pouch. Sorry.
Very emphatic fuck from Fergus.
You're going to see this pouch. You're going to look inside, and it's a few. Basically, there are a couple of common sense little sort of little items for like lockpick type things. But then you also will see that she put in there's a recording device that you recognize. You think. This is the kind of recording device that your father used to have. And she did tell you there was a message apparently he left that required both of you. You look at it because it's sort of keyed to your DNA. It looks like she actually already unlocked her side of it, but she couldn't get into it because you weren't there. And so actually, you could, if you wanted to, see this message for yourself because she's already unlocked her side of it.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Okay. I will need just a moment while we do this. Let me scroll to the right file. If we're ready, I'm going to play a file now.
Where are you playing it in?
I'm playing it in Roll20.
Okay, hold on. I have to.
An audio file.
Hold on. Okay, I'm ready.
I will tell you that where do you do this? Do you just do this in the temple, or are you going to...
I think I step aside, like, to a little, like, maybe private alcove or something.
Yeah, there are plenty of those in here.
Yeah.
you see an image, a holographic image of your father. And he begins speaking.
This is a message from my daughters, Levitt and Euphemia. I will be direct. If you are hearing this, it means that I have perished. While I had hoped to never involve either of you in the following dealings, if I am to pass soon, I fear there is no other choice. I shall inform you of our family's unsavory history, in the hopes that you shall not repeat my mistakes. By now you have likely already uncovered some semblance of my entanglements with the Ascendancy, the clever girls that you are. I first joined the Order many years ago, not long before your grandfather ceded control of our house to me. It seemed that with my succession they were finally interested in inviting me into their cabal. I shall make no excuses for my motivation for accepting. They offered great power, and I eagerly sought after it. The connections the Ascendancy offered access to were numerous, and none were more welcoming to me than Wolf Greville, whom you may recall visiting our estate frequently when you were younger. I remember chastising him once for bringing you a book, Effie, that I thought was far too advanced for your age. Both of you proved me wrong, I suppose. I considered Wolf a friend. Perhaps I still do. I believed in the mission that he regaled me with, that as nobles our purpose was to shepherd humanity to our greatest potential, at any cost. But as I rose in the ranks of the Order, I soon learned that there was an even greater goal beyond the veil. They spoke of ancient beings from a dimension beyond our own, and how we, as chosen ones, could work to ascend to a state akin to godhood alongside them. I admit that while I was skeptical at first of their unconventional beliefs, I was not deterred by this discovery. In fact, I was drawn further in, both by their rigorous historical research and the undeniable appeal of unfettered power. No, I remained devoted far beyond that, until the day I learned what they believed it would take to truly ascend. The Ascendancy intends to harness the power of these alien beings to gain control of all life in the universe. None but their own order would be spared from their domination. It was only then that I realized the error of my ways. I thought of you, my daughters, and the dark deeds you'd be pulled into to join me in the ranks of the oppressors. I did not want that for you. It's been 10 years now since I doffed my robes and blade, hoping to rid my conscience of the darkness I had inflicted upon it. I have devoted my time since then to opposing them in the shadows, our family's finances drained in an attempt to thwart the plans. I wanted to believe that Wolf was still my friend, despite my recusal, but in time I believe he began to suspect my actions, and I saw him drawing ever closer to you both. I feared he was trying to recruit you, to bring the noble house of Teague back into the fold. Now I have learned that he is also connected with the Cinder Throne, and I can no longer remain a passive actor in this. I still believe there is a good man in Wolf. When I see him next, I hope to convince him to cease his shady dealings, and if he refuses, then to sever all contact with my family. Euphemia, I know that you and Wolf are still close, but I need you to understand. If he will not listen to reason, if I have indeed passed, he is not the friend I once knew. This galaxy is an unforgiving place, and I have tried my best to protect you both from it, and from me. I had hoped that by distancing myself from you both that you would grow stronger, seek a different path than my own. But in the absence of love, what angry void remains? I shall not beg your forgiveness. My only wish is that you may see through the malice and care for each other in the ways that I have failed to. Levitt, you have always been my strongest child. I have no doubt that you will weather this storm. I suspect that your mother will need your strength with my passing. Please take care of her for me. I know I've been harsh on you and your fiancé, but please know it is only because I believe you truly deserve nothing less than the happiness your mother and I share. So long as you and Russ truly care for each other, I would be proud to call him my son, even if he is a commoner who works with his hands. One last thing. Alongside this holotape, you will find a ledger. In it are all of the records of my financial dealings in the past several years, which I have carried out in secret to avoid the Ascendancy's watchful eyes. I have funneled most of our fortune into purchasing a majority stake in the Crown Mining Company, which has extensive mining rights in the Tauren sector. If my research is correct, the alien power source the Ascendancy is searching for is located there, and as such I have used the company to thwart their probes in the sector. The ledger should contain the master keys to all my various shell accounts. I have financially walled off this estate under taxes to ensure that debt collectors cannot seize it, but I believe that by the time you find this, the dividends from Crown will be sufficient to pay off the rest. I'm certain that things have not been easy for you if I have passed, but I believe in both of you. You will always be my little shining stars.
Is the ledger there?
There is a ledger file.
I immediately look through it, and does it corroborate everything that he said?
It looks like it's going to take some time to get in depth, but at a glance, it kind of is looking like it. It's looking like he made it so that he looked complete. He distanced himself as best as he could, so that it looked like one company to another company, so that it looked like it was someone else. And it was that he did that with several companies, apparently.
That same emphatic fuck that Fergus gave moments ago. Levitt gives her own fuck. And I think with this, with a purpose, just holds this stuff or puts it back in that bag, ties the pouch or secures the pouch to her own waist, and without saying anything to Fergus, Fergus would know that look on her face of determination. She's walking out of the temple. Doesn't even exactly know what she's going to do or where she's going. She's hoping that some sort of idea hits her. She knows she has to do something.
Yeah.
Yep. Fergus is on her heels. He just shoots a look over at Eamon and is on her heels. Love it. What's going on?
I thought my father was a bad person. I thought Russ was a bad person. Everything that I've known has just been turned completely upside down. My whole world has just been flipped, and I have no idea what to do about it.
Fergus just hugs. Love it.
There is this tension in her, and she takes one of those shuddering breaths and just lets it go, and for a moment just goes sort of slack in your arms. Because I think she needed a hug in that moment.
Yeah.
Very desperately.
He pats her on the back. Waits until she's her breathing has stabled a little bit. Calmed a little bit, and then steps back and goes, right. So what do we need to do?
I don't know. My father was not a villain like I thought he was, but my sister is going down that path, and I need to make sure that she doesn't.
Okay. What does that mean?
She escaped on a ship. That's what Eamon said, and I need to make sure that she doesn't, that she hears this, that she knows that our father would not want this for her, that we've been turned by someone who has nefarious purposes.
Do you think she'll believe you?
If she hears this, yes.
Okay, can you reach her? Do you know how to contact her? Because she's got that key, and that key is going to open up the gate.
Oh, she'll trust me after what I did. I shot her.
Well, I mean, you probably had good reason.
She was trying
Maybe.
to shoot me. It was.
Oh,
it was
yeah, that's a good reason. Yeah.
even odd. Okay.
Family's complicated. I get that. I get family, but it's been a couple of centuries. But family can be complicated.
I'm going to. Is there a way that I could somehow send Effie a message, like a voice recording?
It would be difficult because you're not sure what ship she is on at this point. You could try to leave her a message through an old channel.
Okay.
And see if she picks up on it.
Okay. I think that's what I'll do.
Yes, you didn't really have time to exchange numbers or anything exactly during the whole thing before you ran out on her again.
What if I sent one to Hickory?
Well,
I'm going to send one to Hickory. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make a sacrifice for love, and I'm going to send a message to Hickory. And this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to I would know Hickory's number regardless.
You would, yeah. You absolutely have Hickory's number.
And this is what I say. I stare Fergus in the eye as I'm saying this, and I go, Hickory, it's me, your favorite person in the world. If you want me and you want your revenge, I need to see my sister one last time. Name the place, make sure she's there, and I'm yours. And then I'd like to make a sacrifice for love.
All right. Yes, you're going to be rolling plus beauty.
Oh, no!
So you get to choose one success effect anyway, and then I choose one or two of the 7 to 9 effects on here. And so
I'm going to keep just in case, I'm going to keep Effie safe, just in case something happens.
Okay. So yeah, just for the edification of those looking in the side, I don't have a pre-made thing for this, but yeah, this is you keep the one you love safe. That's the first of the choices there, and the list that I get to pick from.
I just really didn't see that happening, but there we go.
You expose yourself to injury. You expose yourself to hatred or judgment. You escalate the situation. I think it's going to be at least one of the last two. Mm-hmm. And when you receive you will get a response back. I think ultimately we'll see what happens with that when we next have you with us. And
cliffhanger.
That I think is where, if we're all right with it, we're going to go to break briefly because Katy, alas, is going to have to leave us to dive off to do real life. Was there anything?
Is fun.
Yeah.
I really didn't see that roll going that way. Ooh.
Is there anything you want to let folks know before we?
You can find me all over the internet at Katyface. I'm currently advertising for. I'm a professional DM. I am currently advertising for a game of Liminal, which is a fun 2d6 system. You can basically be anything you want to be: werewolf, cab driver, vampire, bodega owner, fae thief, or just a regular old Joe. It's about the fae court and a fae princess dying in the goblin markets. But if you want to come play with me, check it out on Start Playing Games, and it'll be a lot of fun. I personally think I run a great game, so come play with me if you're interested. But yeah, thanks for having me, and hopefully next week I can be back because I want to know what happens.
Yay!
I won't be here next week.
Oh no!
Yeah. This will be interesting. Okay, folks, we're going to go to break, and we'll be back in a few minutes. See you shortly.
Bye.
We have returned. Hello. Hello, everyone. Now that we've had an opportunity to recover from the from the drama, we're going to see Irina, where did you go and what did you do at this point? When
I think maybe after checking on Levitt, she probably wanted to go look at the shrine and kind of, talk to somebody who maybe saw a little bit more of what happened.
Yeah. So the shrine is up on the 4 north area of the station. There is. It's the main hall, which they kind of use as the chancel of there. So basically, the way this station is laid out, and I now have a moment to talk about this. You have you can see the 4 docking bays on the corners, and then. You've been recently in Station Ops, which is on the south end. It's basically the station from the out. You didn't get to see the station from the outside, but I've got some reference images in the thing in Roll20 if you want to look at this. It's just art that sort of gives an idea of the kind of thing. It's like a big kind of metallic cathedral in space is kind of what it's supposed to look like. But, as it's, a station that has to rotate and, be in orbit around this gas giant, it's essentially, it looks kind of like a gear, basically. So you have these pathways. You go from the Temple of Nod up the sort of the southwest corridor up into the hub, and you can tell that. So that's where engineering is there, and a lot of other things where people are sort of milling around. When you go past the hub to the 4, you get into sort of the pattern on the floor changes to the point that they tried to make this look kind of like an old school cathedral. To an extent, it is still is metallic still, but this is where this is like the quote unquote oldest part of the station, which is kind of a misnomer because they had to have the whole thing. They built the whole thing at once, but it's kind of like in the ship of Theseus that is this space station. The part where they were holding services is the part that gets replaced last. That they try to hold on to for the longest. And so it's you have sort of in the northern part of the hub, you have what is effectively like the narthex of a cathedral, the back end of the cathedral. And as you head up through the nave, which is sort of the main north-south, the main northern corridor, it has sort of things like pews that you can go between, and you see and they have these the windows are kind of meant to look like stained glass windows that are looking out into space, but it's stained glass so you can't see very much. And then of course you can proceed to the chancel and the main hall, which is where a lot of services are conducted, and sort of the main east-west northern corridor has these transepts essentially that go out, things that function as like transepts, places where you'd put people dealing with various types of services. And so this is like the main part of the abbey, I guess you might say, where the abbot holds services, conduct services, and other folks can. It is in ruins right now. The northern part of this station, the topmost, the foremost part of this station is kind of blocked off behind this big big wall that came up to protect from the vacuum of space. This big bulkhead went, poof, into place. Or slammed down, I should say, probably. That just sort of an emergency bulkhead because there was a big hole in the station. And so the shrine is in pieces. The shuttle slammed into, from what you can see, so there is embedded in the floor is this shuttle that apparently looks like it came in through through that back wall, and it took out like one half of the shrine, which was made to look like this big kind of stone building. And there's rubble that has been being cleaned up. The rubble is now being sorted into neat piles by some of the monks. You see there are people here working, mostly brown-robed monks. A few of the sentinels, the dark blue-robed monks, are here as well, helping out. The sentinels, from what you can tell, are more sort of security, from what you can tell. But that said, having seen the Temple of Nod, you wouldn't be surprised if they have multiple functions. There's more. The Nodists are supposed to be it's a subsect within the subsect, right? The Nodists are a subsect of the Order of St. Caledron, which is a subsect of the Church of the Eternal Divinity. Which is kind of like, I've been saying it's sort of a space C of E. It's kind of, there's a lot of Catholicism in there too. So it's kind of the way that religions have merged and flown apart and done things in the however many years since humanity's left its planet of origin. But you can see that. This place has been kind of, apparently they have cordoned this off. They're asking the visitors not to come into this area. They're asking them to go around if they have to get from like the one docking bay to the other, because it is, they're coming through with equipment and trying to make sure everything is structurally sound. They're going to be getting a crew in probably to remove the shuttle as they're trying to rebuild. That's what you get at a glance. Now, as you're kind of going to be going around and asking people things, I presume, yes?
Yes.
I think what we could do here is you could... if you would like, you could read a situation.
Yes. Let's do it. Do I? Well,
Unless you're approaching this differently, which, you easily could be doing something else.
No, let's read the situation. Let's do it.
You're reaching out with your senses.
I was like,
right.
maybe I should use the beyond.
You could if you want. But however you think you would try to make sense of all of this.
Let's do beyond. We haven't done a whole lot of that.
Okay. Yeah. What? How are you reaching out to sense what's beyond? What are you doing?
So I think, even though the shrine is in ruins,
Yes.
it's still a place that's significant. But I guess also, is it significant now that he's not there? And now it's just a place that's all crashed and broken up. So perhaps just out of respect for coming to a place that is considered holy or whatnot, she's gonna kind of do her typical, whatever the ritual is, as she's entering the shrine and coming up to it before asking questions. But she's also trying to get a feel for where he may be heading and like using that connection to this greater whatever to kind of get a better idea. Is there some clue in the room in the shrine that's going to help her figure out what the heck is happening and where to go from here?
Yeah, so you're sort of trying to sort of walk among the area. Eamon can let you in if you want, basically, if you want to actually go into the area where the shrine is, they'll let you in, because
Okay.
if you want, because it's like he sort of got the nod from Fergus. It's like, oh, you're okay? Okay.
Yes.
Apparently Eamon is doing what is knows Fergus in some sense, and you're not sure what sense that is. But it's like Fergus apparently has an in with the Sentinels on this station.
Love it.
So yeah, go ahead and so you're reaching out. That's the thing? You're praying?
Yes.
Sensing what's beyond? Yeah, go ahead and roll beyond. Ooh! You're going to receive visions and truths.
Woo!
Buckle up!
Oh no.
Yeah, sure. What, we can do this. Oh my god. Okay. A number of hours have passed since this specific thing occurred. Time has been passing. I need to make that clear. I think that as you are looking through the ruins of the shrine, it's so there was some real stone used in the shrine, but they used kind of stones that were as lightweight as they could find, and the assembly is different from the way that it's done. It would have been done in the time period that this shrine is emulating. It's kind of a thing where, you know, you can kind of 3D carve out the right shaped pieces to fit into the right other shaped pieces, if you get what I'm meaning. So it's like basically a bunch of very heavy Legos got broken apart. And, you know, there's a degree of still masonry involved. You know, they have, you know, they're held together, but, you know, not anymore, not as much. So you find this broken, it's kind of in the middle of things, something they haven't gotten around to clearing out yet. Is there's this, let me actually for a second, we'll head to the other view. One moment. Here. As we're one-on-oneing this. Here we are. What you will see is there are a couple of things lying broken open is what looks like a large sort of coffin-like stone coffin reliquary chamber type deal. But inside there is the technology that has been, you can tell it's also a device that's been used and that you're looking at. It's like, and you remember what you read, the idea that Caladri is just sleeping. And you realize that you're looking down at this, that this is a preservation chamber. And the prayer that you're using, I think, probably might be specific to Caladri. Maybe. Would that be accurate to say? Okay. So you noticed this. There's humming involved a little bit in that, and there's this kind of this resonance that you get from part of the equipment that you realize there's like how do I explain this? There's a bit that's been left on that kind of involves this kind of telepathic technology, for lack of a better term. It's strange, you feel, it's this weird thing that you feel, like as you step between, like you go around behind the chamber and between where the chamber is now and where the chamber was supposed to be. And, you know, you kind of glancing back, there are all these little sort of, this torn up area in the floor. One moment. This torn up area in the floor, where it's like there were devices that interacted with this kind of this thing that creates this wave to... You can kind of hear the waves almost, this thing where it's like this lulling thing trying to drag a person under. It's not affecting you, but it's like you could see how like that could try to slowly sort of bury someone in this long slumber. And the thing is, the bit that's still active, it's kind of like if you stand in exactly the right place, you can almost hear someone. It's that thing where it kind of, you have to move, it's like, I guess the point it's like, wait, if I move my head just a little bit, it's like this, like trying to tune back and forth on a radio.
Does it seem like anyone else hears it?
No one's, but then again, no one's right where you are at this point, at this moment. And if you want, you can try to, do you want to try to track that down?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not going to make you roll anything else, but I just wanted to know sort of where we're going with it. You sort of, it's like, okay, there's this, it happened when you started, it's weird, it's like, there's also a thing of timings that coincided because you're sort of absent-mindedly mumbling part of the prayer again.
Oh.
And it got stronger when you did that. And so you sort of make the connection that it's like, wait a minute, so if I say this part of the prayer and I'm in the right spot, I might actually be able to connect with something.
Oh.
Do you want to do that?
Yes.
So, I need to, let's see, what shall I, what, I need to change the music a little bit right now. Let's try this. You, are going to get this kind of sense as you're starting to hear this. It's like you can almost feel like the strange depths of space in this like hidden place. There's like a connection you're feeling. And you can hear someone, you hear a voice that you are not sure if this voice is human or not. It's a mental voice. It seems to speak in a number of different languages for a moment. And what you hear it saying, I'm going to have to get up and look for it. I'm going to have to find it. It's around somewhere. I know it. I think that... Internet. I think that, I think that I just have to take stock and figure out how to get it back. It must have been them. They must have been the ones. I don't know if there's a way back. I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to talk. It's not going to work out very well, probably. It might. I don't know how they're going to react if I just show up there. I don't want to have to deal with this. Who's there? Somebody's there. Who's there? I can hear you breathing. You're carbon-based, right? How did you get on this frequency?
Can they hear Irina?
Maybe.
So, and she like telepathically just say hello?
Yeah.
Just say hello back?
You want to try that?
Yeah.
Hello? Who is this?
This is Irina?
Irina.
Who is this?
I think I'd like to know how you're talking to me first. Where are you, Irina?
Truthfully, I'm not quite sure how this is happening. I'm at the shrine of Caladry. We're...
Oh, I see. I probably shouldn't tell you who I am, then. It's going to cause all manner of fuss.
No one has to know.
Well, if you're at the shrine... And I think you know who it is you're speaking to.
I teared up. Serena just has like a giant gasp and then just sort of pauses and then asks, what is happening?
It's probably... damn, left... They probably... when the telepathic cycler probably got left on when in the crash. Now, don't worry, you won't be hearing me for much longer. I'm going to make some adjustments.
But before you do,
and you can go right back to your... What?
I have so many questions, and I'm so confused about what's happening, and why did you leave, and where did you go, and what comes next? What do we do? How do we save humanity? There are so many things.
Apparently, I have an agent now of some kind. If you're there, you get a hold of that salesperson Mead, and they should probably able to tell you most of it.
Oh.
But suffice to say, I was being held against my will.
So when they said that you were potentially asleep, you were really trapped.
Yes.
I see.
I don't want to start a holy war, and you're another. I don't want to start another holy war, not again. I don't want. If I tell you, see, this is the problem. If I tell you too much, then you're going to start something.
Or perhaps I could help finish something. Things are clearly in motion.
That's certainly the truth. You've only got what, like 3.5 days, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, you know about that?
Yes.
Oh, good. Well, at least you're further ahead than most. Yeah. Let me see if I can... What is it called? Are you from that lot from Mira?
Yes.
That's what I thought. Interesting. How are they doing? Are they still all right? They've still...
Some things have changed and are different, and perhaps some of the followers have become a bit more misguided, but still with their hearts in the right place. Just going about it in a way that perhaps isn't the most well-informed.
And you see, this is why one reason why I vowed to stop trying to help, because apparently my helping wasn't helping at all. This always happens. This happens every time. Sorry, what?
I believe that is due to the human interference and not so much your fault or plight. That this will just continue to happen throughout humanity's existence. Thanks to the hubris of man. So, it's just how it is.
Well, everything you've said is true, but I suppose I can also say that if it makes you feel any better, hubris is not unique to humanity.
Fair.
What's happening over there? And no new cults are springing up already, are there?
Just now, since your departure?
Yes.
Probably, but they don't have the numbers yet
Damn.
to be visible.
Yeah, that's always starts quiet.
Do you know what may be potentially released in 3.5 days?
A few things. There are a few possibilities. We've there's one I know about, just through communication with that one Mead, but they probably have a couple of other candidates. Why should I talk to you about this?
For one, I am a scientist as well as a Darist, and I am simply gathering information and knowledge. But also, I would like to help pave the way for a smooth transition to whatever comes next.
So, I feel as though you're kind of trying to manipulate another. Which is, in some ways, kind of terrifying in this situation. So unless you have a more specific move you would like to use here, then we're probably going with manipulate another.
Let's see.
Unless you would like to try to outsmart the god Caladri.
That seems like not the world's best, but also manipulation sounds kind of terrible too. So we're just
It
in a bad place here. Okay.
So manipulate or outsmart, which would you like?
Oh my goodness. I guess we'll. Oh, I don't like. Oh, we'll try to manipulate.
Okay, and it's just a demigod. It's not like a full god, I should say.
Yeah, that makes it only slightly less awful.
Yes.
Only a little.
A roll plus beauty.
Ooh, she don't have much of that.
We'll see what happens.
Boop.
Well, it's so they change the terms to suit themselves or demand concrete assurance first. Okay, well, he says, yeah, and you're a You're not of their same sect. What are you doing out on that station?
It's quite a story. It's quite the story. We've been traveling and escaping and crash landing, and we've been looking for information to help with the outcome in the next few days.
Huh. Interesting. There is a thing that I need help with.
Okay.
And I am often hesitant to ask this of humans because to ask help of humans because you can't understand anything that I do is going to be taken in certain ways and ways that whose importance gets dilated beyond what they should be.
I assure you, I will remain humble.
I would ask that if you can assist me with this, then we can perhaps talk about this. There are Are you familiar with the Sentinels of Nod?
Yes.
Well, do you know about their origins?
No.
Ah. See, they were founded by a species known as the Va. Do you know the Va?
Does she know the ball?
So, this is an interesting question. You might have heard of them possibly just because you have done the kind of research that you have. Because part of your specialty is trying to find out information about xenoorganisms.
Then yes, she does.
They're very it's rare. It is incredibly rare to have heard of them, I will say. But that is kind of putting two and two together. You were there for that announcement with the you were there for that announcement that happened back on Metaxas when they said they were looking for Fergus, right?
Yes.
And then showed that image of Fergus where he had revealed his true form. So you might have put together by now, you think that's Fergus's species. The Falcolor sector, not a lot is known about it. Or rather, not a lot gets around about it, but it's a distant sector, whose and the planet Val has been dying for a very long time, because the sun and the planet have been dying for a very long time, and so it's a very dark place, and so there are not a lot of around. So when he asks you, so he'll ask you if you're familiar with the Val.
Yes. Somewhat.
They, well, there's that. They, a group of them decided to, there's a group of them that decided to trap me about 1,500 of your years ago. And that, unfortunately, is how I found myself to be enshrined.
Mm-hmm.
They decided to take matters into their own hands. I suppose they were worried about certain things happening. There were things I suppose they were concerned about, and so they trapped me, and they formed a secret society of sorts around me. There have been times I've been able to hear things going on that station, and my understanding is they are functionally in charge of the station without appearing to be so. They, It's not the other way around as it may appear to you. Now, the Sentinels, I suspect, have a device that I need very badly right now. It is a key that I can use to make some adjustments to certain active gateways to other locations. It will be something that I'll be making use of to leave this plane.
The key is no longer here.
Oh. What happened? You know? You know where it is?
I know that it was smuggled off the station, and is currently in transit elsewhere. Have you heard of the Ascendancy?
Oh, I've been hearing about the Ascendancy, especially more since I woke up. Yeah, there are a number of meddlers trying to. There were. See, that's the trouble. There were certain. Okay, look, there are certain entities that decided to invest interest in certain family lines of humans some time ago. Yeah, humans and other species, but mostly humans. And the Ascendancy is a group of humans that some of these various human family lines that came together to try to, I don't know, work their will on the rest of humanity, I suppose. So it's all very political. It's not really something I'm deeply interested in.
Well, for the sake of maintaining humanity, I have to be somewhat interested in this. So, you require the key that is now likely on its way to the Ascendancy. And we may be able to access the person... Well, actually, wait. Irina doesn't know about Levitt.
We didn't really specify how many people heard that recording. I'm going to say for now, because she said she went into a nook to listen to it, that you might... That there's like a general gist. Fergus might be able to piece together a little bit more from the reaction Levitt had and what they said. Unfortunately, Kat is not with us at this point due to an internet outage.
Yes.
So we do not have that specific connection. So I'm going to say for now that you don't know that it's Levitt's sister.
Well, I don't even realize that in the video that it was Levitt's sister. Wait, no. Well, didn't she say that? She said that.
She said it to Fergus. I don't know if you heard that or not. You might have.
Because I think it was in the room while we watched the video.
Yeah, it was in the room. She went to a nook to watch the video, a more private nook. So you could have seen that she was.
She went to the nook to watch the specific thing from her father.
Yes.
But the video of her sister.
Oh yeah, the video. Yeah, the video. Oh, that's right. I'm trying to remember if she said that she knew that was her. She did recognize the person on the video. So yeah, you probably will say that maybe you do know that might be that's a relative of hers.
So I'm aware that that's her relative, but I don't know the fact that she's trying to track her down because I wasn't present for that part.
Yeah. So it's like you don't have the absolute at this moment. You don't have all the specifics, but it's.
Right.
I think you might have the gist of it.
Right. But so I can assume that maybe we have some sort of way to connect with Euphemia, if needed, through Levitt.
Yeah, you think Levitt might have some way to connect with her, yeah.
Okay. So for these purposes, we may be able to access. Okay, I got it. I'm ready. Thank you. So this key we do not have and do not currently have access to, but we may be able to contact the person who has it and arrange something, though I suspect it will not go smoothly as they have their own uses for the key itself.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. Well, I should probably warn you that any number of things could happen if someone who does not know how to use the key attempts to use the key. Members of the Ascendancy might have some inkling, but it's there's a certain nuance to it. And there's a chance it could be fairly destructive if they do not use it correctly. And it's also been not used in some time, so it would be very helpful if I could get a hold of it to at least to make sure that it still even functions. But yes, this. But you say that you might have a line on it, then, as I think the expression is. Yes.
Yes.
All right. Well, we can talk about this then, I suppose. What did you want to know?
Well, first, when you say that the key could be destructive, can you elaborate on what sort of disaster may befall us if it is misused?
Well, let's. There are a number of different possible effects depending the way that the way that it functioned when we built the thing was that it would find. It's meant to use existing corridors in space. The problem may be, though, if it's not attuned properly, it could, if there are places where there are more natural rifts that are not entire corridors, it could force them open. And if that's the case, of course, one wouldn't know exactly where those lead. But my assumption is that they're going to try to use it at one of the gateways, so that in and of itself might not be a problem. But that said, if they attempt to use it incorrectly with one of the gateways, then that could cause a number of problems, up to and including an inversion of a dimensional inversion, I would imagine. So that would be a problem. If you try to try to make this simple, if you imagine trying to pull part of one dimension into another with the force of a singularity, that generally is not a preferred outcome. There are ways of alleviating it, of course, but I don't think you have the necessary technology to do that. And unfortunately, much of mine is not well maintained and is somewhat out of date.
Yeah. What were the Vol trying to keep from happening by trapping you here?
There's a pause, and they say, I don't entirely know. I have a few guesses. They are not... There are reasons why, I suppose, why they're not appreciative of my efforts. There have been mistakes in the past. And they... my understanding is they don't wish me to communicate with the Warden, as the Warden is my progenitor, and there is a certain concern on their part, I suppose, that I will unseat them from their duties, which I will admit is a thing I have considered trying to do in the past, because I think the whole system they're operating with over there is ridiculous. But that, I suppose, is a concern that they've taken and just meshed with their own personal enmity. I suppose they're just really, I think it's just out of a sense of revenge, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But as I said, mistakes happened, and I could not have foreseen what happened.
Okay.
You're not completely sure what it is that he's talking about there, but it's up to you to decide if you want to pursue that or not.
Well, what sort of mistakes were made?
There's another pause. Are you certain you want to know?
Yes.
This is something that unfortunately plays into your planet's history as well.
Oh.
And again, I must ask you not to... Don't start a cult. Can I ask you not to start a cult over this?
I will not start a cult.
Your planet was a number of ones that my partner and I, over a number of systems, we were trying to work out a way to help extend the life of a number of systems with planets that supported it. It involved transferring energy from certain stars to other stars. There was an accident, as it turns out, when we were helping to restore your planetary system. We were able to stabilize it. The the star that provides life to Mira is good. It is strong. It's going to last a very long time yet. But it was not meant to take life from Val's star, but as I said, there was an accident and the conduit was rerouted. The dimensional conduit was rerouted and it latched onto the closest thing it could. And our calculations were perfect. I am telling you this. It should not have happened. But it was all very long ago, but the vow is those that some vow have incredibly short memories, and some have very long ones, and the ones who had very long ones decided that they wanted me out of the picture. Because it came at the cost, as it turned out. That saving your planet came at the cost of theirs.
That seemed reasonable to be upset about.
I tried to explain that it was an accident, but unfortunately, it's difficult to be, I suppose, to be rational when your planet is dying. I understand that. But also, there's not much we could do, and then I wanted to try to do something to correct it, and then the warden tore Azariel from me, and I couldn't make another converter. I couldn't stop it.
What happened
I'm
to
sorry
Azariel?
you had to...
What happened to Azariel?
She's been locked away. She's been locked away for so long and beyond somewhere. I don't know exactly where he put her, but she's beyond and I have to find her.
Was that your punishment?
Probably. Also, he didn't like that I was with her. Thought that I was interfering too much, when in fact they have cults of all kinds, massive cults spreading up around all of them up there, those higher dimensional bastards. But I am sorry you had to learn this. We were trying to shelter you from this, shelter your people from it. None of this was your fault. None of this was your... But yes, Mira did benefit.
It helps me have a greater deal of sympathy and understanding for why you ended up here. And for the people who put you here.
Well, if you can help me find the key, then all of humanity will be rid of me. I will go beyond, and you won't have to worry about me for some time. Okay. If they survive.
Okay. Would you help us figure out a way to survive? Before you just head out? Just gonna be like, I'ma go now?
I think I've meddled quite enough in humanity's fate, don't you think?
I mean, yes, and you did kill a whole planet, kind of. So I think, like, the least you could do would be to try to fix something. You know, put the karmic scales back into balance before you go, and then you can be free.
Can I just take a moment and say that it delights me to no end that you're trying to guilt a god into helping humanity.
That's not supposed to happen, right? They're supposed to not screw up. So now she's like, well shoot. Now that I know that you are also not above making mistakes, I'm going to take that and use it. Just real casual. I killed a whole planet. My bad. Your planet benefited, though.
It's very complicated at that level. There's so much going on.
It's been a long day for Irina. She's just like, okay, all right, more bad stuff. No big deal. Just keep moving. Keep going. We'll process in 5 days if we're still here.
Yeah. So, let's see. I feel like this is going to be another manipulation roll. As this is a separate... You actually want to... You got the manipulation roll to just talk. Now you're trying to get him to actually help.
This is the one that I'm about to bomb. The one that I need real bad.
He is not inclined to help humanity. He doesn't really care that much about them necessarily. He's
not inclined to help now, but he already, I guess his help did go awry earlier, so fair. But okay, we'll try. Yeah.
Okay. So once again, on manipulate another, let me come back here with this. So they change the terms to suit themselves or demand concrete assurance first. Okay. So, he says, balance the scales. Do you know who you sound like?
Who?
I think... I think you call them the Magister?
Yes.
A number of you are very invested in the Magister, aren't you?
We are.
Yeah. The Magister is the problem. And that's where I think that's where the greatest source of meddling, I think, of any kind comes from, is the idea to decide what... I mean, they're going to decide in a few days. They're going to decide in a few days whether or not, or through what method they get to arrest humanity's development. It's a question of whether they're going... Go ahead.
Okay. I believe the goal is to speak with the Magister to help guide that choice.
Oh, do you have a candidate you're backing?
Unfortunately, I'm not fully aware of all of the available candidates to make the best decision.
Neither am I, really. I know the Reaper is one of them.
The Reaper.
So, Irina, you've probably heard of a figure known as the Reaper. It's who you think it is. It's the Grim Reaper, basically, is kind of the this figure in a number of myths and religions and legends and what have you. But it could have. But there was a point where you thought, well, this might have mixed with story of an alien being that culled entire planets in some sort of desire to help the greater good. It's sort of an answer to overpopulation, just cutting off the heads of the tallest weeds type deal.
I don't want to be that person, but it sounds like somebody else did that too.
Well,
Just saying.
yes, but that was an accident.
I think that makes it worse.
It might.
The Reaper at least does it on purpose.
Yeah, that's fair. Gotta at least give them that. They have principles and they stick to them.
They're not gonna just mess up and then bail out. Okay. So now Arena knows more about the Reaper being one of the options.
Yes.
And the Curator is the other.
Yeah. You probably now suspect the Curator because A, you saw the technology, but I mean that just reminded you of the Curator, and B, Levitt mentioned the Curator to you. Apparently, the Curator's been talking to Levitt.
Okay. Yes.
And the Curator is on that list. You know that.
Yes.
And yeah, the Curator's answer to, from what you recall of the Curator's answer to problems with humanity is to basically just, take pieces of it and freeze those pieces in place. To curate humanity or other species, just basically to preserve, as like in a museum, civilizations, but it does kind of take them off the board for quite some time. It either permanently or not, some civilizations maybe have been re-released. Some perhaps have not. But it was for that behavior that the Curator was sentenced and put away.
That doesn't sound terrible. There's that chance that you could pop back up later.
There's a chance. You never know.
Right. It's a non-zero number. I like that. Okay.
We're just going to put you on the shelf for a few million years.
But then as soon as you get thawed out, you're just fine.
Yeah, sure. No problems there. As long as, they remember you're sitting there on the shelf.
Look, the Grim Reaper's just going to reap you, and that's going to be it. This gives you a chance. Okay. Oh, man. Okay.
So now you kind of you've figured out two of the three.
It's just like all the options are bad, more bad, probably most bad.
Yeah. But that's right. But to get back to the purpose of this role, you asked you were asking them to help, and so there, and so I guess that's the question, right? Is that you were last talking about the Reaper, and so yeah, I think the simplest thing about this is like, what do you do? I doubt the Magister will listen to me. I suppose I could sabotage the gate on my way out.
Oh.
That's not a permanent solution, though.
But it helps.
It's a stopgap solution, I suppose.
Sure. All right.
All right, well, if you can acquire the key for me and get it to me, then I'll shut the gates down.
Excellent.
Yes, I suppose that is the thing I can do. I'd have to set off a chain reaction. It might cause some degree of destruction on your side of things, on our side. He's originally from this plane. He is originally from this universe. So it might cause a certain degree of destruction, possibly, on this end of things. But that would... So I can't... And a lot of things will depend on what's being done with the gate at the time. So I can't say for certain how much fallout there will be. But it will give probably a great many more people, I suppose, time until the Magister sorts out another way to make this work. Which he's just going to have to find another space to utilize. He'd probably have to use... There are a few spaces he could utilize, but it would take them time. Probably... at least another few 100 years.
Oh.
I expect. But, so yes, if you're willing to, just so you will know ahead of time, understand that, therefore, whoever is on the moon of Azoth and probably a number of people on Metaxas may not make it, and people at that station may not make it. But that is the thing I could do.
Would you be able to give us some warning that this is going to happen?
Well, once you get me the key, it's pretty much... That's kind of when you know that's chain of events is going to start, yes?
Yes. Okay, so we can time it to evacuate prior to you getting the key. Okay. And Irina's just standing in front, and I realize that she's just been in front of...
We'll need the key within the next... before the deadline. That's the important part.
Okay. Irina's just been in front of the shrine this whole time, realizing that all of this is a mental conversation.
When it comes in, the actual judgment, once the gateways are open from that side, there will be a certain amount of... It's not going to be instantaneous, so there will be time. But, and actually, once we reach that point, then I might be able to get through without the key even, but it'll be harder. But but that it's so if even if you get to that point, it's just you would need up until the end, up until closing arguments, shall we say, up until the point where just after closing arguments, the Magister will render their judgment. It has to be before the Magister renders their judgment.
Okay.
If you can get the key to me before then, and hopefully I'll have enough time to make it work.
I will do my best.
All right. Well, is there anything else?
How will we communicate once I leave?
Oh, that's an
shrine?
excellent question. Oh, no, you're right. I'm going to trust you with a symbol. You will be able to use it. Wait, hold on. Stops for a second. And he comes back. Ah, yes, this will be easier. This is still working. I'm going to give you a frequency you can use. I've turned on the receiver. Good. There is a symbol I will probably be needing to trust you with, but I don't have. But not yet. I can transmit that to you when the time is right. I'm going to send you a frequency if you tune your device to your communication device. If you have a long-term communication device, tune it to that frequency. You will be able to reach me.
Okay.
And you get this. You get a code, basically, that is you get basically it's a communication frequency.
Okay. She'll put it into her little comm device.
Yeah, and it's like it's a thing where it's like you might need. It'll take a little bit of power. So like if someone had has like a quantum communication device, then that's. Which is not a standard thing, but then that would easily be able to do it. Your comm can do it if you have access to a power source, basically.
Okay.
So you are going to probably need to connect it to a power source to be able to hit this specifically, because you have to do a very broadband thing to find to hit his location.
Okay.
Because it's a bit distant.
The extra long distance.
Yeah. It's within the triangle. It has to be, because that's the only way that he could have made it there. So he's probably hiding somewhere inside this space triangle.
Yeah.
But it takes like hours for to receive communications between, say, Metaxas and Melestation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a thing.
Okay.
All right. And so he will then just sort of say, "Good luck," and his presence will fade.
Oh. And there she is at the shrine.
So, I do have a question for you here.
Sure.
So as far as timing goes, do you want me to check in briefly with Kat? Do we want to try to? It's actually we're getting about where we would probably close things off. So we could close things off at this point. I could try to see if we can get her back, but it might not. As far as the timing goes.
Yeah, we're right at the end of the typical session.
Yeah. So there wouldn't be probably much time to be able to do anything, I think.
Yeah. Let's just pause till the next session then.
Yeah. All right. So next session there is going to be a little bit of a time jump.
Okay.
But we'll be able to kind of see what we can get together as we are hitting a point.
We're getting somewhere.
We're getting to a place where I do not think we are going to have many sessions left. We probably only like 2.
Oh man.
I think next session is probably the penultimate session.
Okay.
And so hopefully we'll be able to have folks to whoever's available. We'll end this thing with whoever's available, and we'll see how things go.
Yes.
Was there anything you wanted to take care of or do before we do our outros?
Are there any like little pieces of the rubble that aren't like real big that she could just kind of casually pocket?
Oh yeah, there are a
Okay.
few pieces you can like. There's a. In fact, let me see. There is the main temple, the main temple, the shrine had a little sort of banner over it, in a stone banner kind of deal, where carved into it was the phrase "Semper introitum vi queramus," and you can grab the like one of the letters if you want from that.
Yes.
Let me I butchered the pronunciation, but I will say you can get one of those letters.
I want the Q.
You have a Q.
Woo!
Was there anything else you wanted to do before we wrap things up?
No, that will be it. She's got her Q. She got all these answers. She's got so many answers.
Yes. Too many answers.
Too many answers. Arena's just like, the blows just don't stop coming. We're just gonna just keep on moving.
Yep. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for being here, and I thank you anyone who's watching for watching. We unfortunately had internet issues and real life issues, and folks, but with folks affect schedule thingies and what have you. But we are getting closer to the end, finally.
Oops. Finally.
And so the next session may very well be the penultimate session. But for our outros, Mem, feel free to just let us know where we can find you if you like, and any final thoughts you might have about this session.
So hi, I'm Mem. You can find me here and nowhere else right now. And I have so many notes from this session because there was so much happening, including that her whole world, home planet, managed to rise up on the back of somebody else's planet dying, and that somebody else is Fergus, and it kind of stings a little bit, but we're just gonna not talk about it too much.
I do have a question for you. How does Irina feel about the fact that she has learned that one of the demigods in her religion spoke to Jackson before speaking to her?
When he mentioned that, I just imagine Irina's just like eyes rolling so hard, probably fist clenched, so mad. But he's a demigod, so you can't say anything really until she realized that he also messed something else up. And it's like, okay, this one just messes stuff up then. Fine. This one is not perfect, clearly.
Nope.
But it stung. Don't believe me, it stung.
I'm also curious. Unfortunately, I know we're not going to have Kat if we play next week. But I'm curious to know if Irina is going to try to break any of this information to Fergus.
I think so, because Fergus is like the one besides Jackson, and you know how we all feel. We know how she feels about Jackson. But so like, Fergus is also so knowledgeable about what's happening, and Irina just, even as like a scientist with this really rational brain, this is a lot of stuff like all at once, and so finding out that we're about to unleash some big bad on humanity right now, and that everyone has a little piece of the pie, so to speak, and they want to push their own big bad for maybe not good reasons. She's just kind of overwhelmed by the whole thing, and Fergus is so level-headed and also very involved, and also from the planet that died for hers. So now she feels like they gotta talk about it.
Yeah. This is something. This is the first time this has been mentioned. Fergus doesn't know about this. They haven't gotten around to talking about it with the other Val yet.
But maybe if, now that Irina knows, if Irina brings it up before they do, so she can apologize on behalf of a demigod who screwed up big time.
This will be interesting. This will be so interesting.
Perfect calculations that somehow still went wrong.
Sometimes you can't account for everything. Sometimes, you know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Can't account for a demigod that screws up.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible someone, if the calculations were perfect, someone might have interfered, but it's hard to really know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, was there anything else you wanted to let us know before we?
Oh no, nothing else for me. I had a great time. Even now, my brain's still just like poof.
All right. Awesome. Well, that leaves me. I'm Jim. At least most of the time. Let me see. Anything I need to communicate at this point? Well, we're getting close to the end, basically, of this campaign. So only probably a couple more sessions, and that'll be it. You can find me at Otherdoc on Twitch, YouTube, and most social media platforms. Wherever I'm not Otherdoc, I'm Jim Yes That Jim. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. Down below, you can access my website, social media links, YouTube channel, and various other things if you're watching here on Twitch. On Tuesday nights, we have been... we couldn't do this last Tuesday because I was injured. But on most Tuesday nights, we've been playing a game run by Hollow, Nine Fox Gambit. It is a dystopian military sci-fi game based on a series of novels by Yoon-Ha Lee. It's been very interesting. It's if you like reality bending thrillers of this type, then I would recommend checking it out. So that's on Tuesday nights. On Thursday, if Lucci's available, I believe we're going to be continuing with our games that we play on Abject Adventure Gamery. Right now, we just started a game called Starcross. There's a lot of sci-fi happening on this channel right now. We started the old Infocom game Starcross, and we're going to be continuing with that. And then come back around to Sunday. If we have folks available, then there's more Angry Void in store. And I, for one, can't wait to see what happens. I think there's a lot going on now. And I just will be very interested to see how the final pieces fall into place. So thank you all again for watching. When we hit the end card, we're probably going to go and raid someone. There are quite a few people out and about that we can go say hi to. So we will probably go and say hi to one of them, one of those folks who are currently streaming. Let's see, Singularity is doing stuff. And a couple of other folks. Yeah, we'll probably go and say hi to them. But in the meantime, thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and we will catch you next time. Farewell.